Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm a little nervous. I'm feeling a bit unprepared for my talk tonight.
Mm.
Only because I had this idea that it was, like a TED talk, like it was just me talking. And so apparently, and I didn't know this. This is kind of a weird thing. The event that I'm giving, it's actually an all-day event. There was a talk this morning at 9. There was just another one. There's one at 3, one at
Oh,
5. And I
okay.
didn't know that at all. I just knew about my part.
Mm.
So I got the email yesterday about it.
Hmm.
Uh, and maybe it was my own fault because I don't know. When I signed up, I was signing up for mine, not realizing that I was signing up for the whole thing, which makes sense, right?
Hmm.
So I thought, you know what? I should listen to this other talk, and see, but I'm not, fuck. If I knew it was kind of like something that I would have done normally, I would have done something completely different.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of,
So was that their lack of communication or was it your rushing that?
no, I've been working on this for weeks. Like, what do I want to say?
Mm.
How do I want to say this? You know, um,
Yeah, no, I mean not knowing that it was a whole day long event.
I think it was just, she never told, she didn't explain it to me that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I talked to her about this 2 months ago,
Hmm.
well, so it was in December when we talked about it. No, we talked about it initially in early November, and
Hmm.
then she was going to get back to me with some information, and then I connected with her and said, hey, are we doing this in January? Oh yeah, I need you to send me this, I need you to send me that.
I'm
And
making co-host.
okay, yeah,
Um,
but for whatever reason, it never came up that this was part of something.
that's weird.
Yeah. Are you ready for me to start and letting people in?
Yeah, I just have to go let my dog in before I start talking here and
Okay.
shut my office door and all that.
Okay, it's Charlotte. I'll say hello.
Okay.
Hi, Charlotte.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Hey, I'm Suzanne's co-host, so I'm letting people in today.
Absolutely. What are you surviving your weather? Once in a while, I have looked up Minneapolis just to see what you're getting because I like knowing kind of what my friends, other parts of the country. So, are you doing okay?
Yeah, we're managing. I don't go out very often. I did have to go out yesterday, and then before yesterday, I went out last week Tuesday. No, that's not true. I went out on Saturday, but
Mm,
it's not fun, but it is
yeah.
what it is. It'll
And
be
how long have you
next
been
week. It'll be
there?
back in the 30s. Next week it'll be back in the 30s. So I mean, most people freak out at that, but 30s here is like a heat wave.
Hey,
Seriously, actually,
Charlotte. Hey,
yesterday,
Daniel.
6 degrees yesterday felt like a heat wave compared to minus whatever it was last week. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean,
Well, it's 20 here today, and I feel like I am freezing.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Hey,
20
Troy. Great to
degrees in
see
the
you.
hot days.
Well,
Hello, everyone.
company is doing their national sales meeting this week in Nashville, which is
Hmm.
supposed to be, they
Yeah,
had
they're
5 or
getting a lot of
6
ice.
inches of snow on
Yeah.
Monday. So
Oh,
his
wow.
flight was canceled and he had to get another one like the next day. So the weather's been crazy in some places.
Wow. Well, welcome, everyone. Hey, Jackie. Are you sick or tired? Sick and tired?
Well, tired always, but
Tired comes with motherhood. Welcome
yeah,
to it.
two-year-old boys and snow.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Yep.
no, I now have the scratchy throat and the stuffy nose and the body aches and all the other things too. So woo.
Wonderful. Well, if you feel like going off camera, no harm in that. It's totally up to you.
Thank you. No, I have my
Awesome.
notes and I'm ready. So
Awesome. Awesome. Well, welcome everyone to your path to $100,000 or 200 or 500 or, 10 million, whatever your goals are for your business. And what you're going to see today is the basic strategies and the insights that have really helped me clarify where I'm going in business. And as many of you know, there's some changes that have happened, and it's going to be hugely reflective or reflected in today's training. You're going to go, oh, I see where she's going and what she's talking about. This so made sense to me when I was putting this training together. So the strategies I'm going to talk about today are part tangible strategies, because I love action and tangible strategies, but they're also part ways of thinking about your business after you set your goals. And those 10 different ways of thinking about what you're doing have given so much insight, not only in the past 2 or 3 weeks for me, but in the past 15 years. I might even be able to go back 35 with a couple of them from my first business. So hopefully it's helpful and insightful, and I will have notes for you. So don't feel like you have to like scribble down all of the tangible things I'm saying. I will absolutely get you the notes from today's note taker, and also my personal notes if you would like those. So I would rather have you be here with me and ask questions, put up your digital hand, engage in the chat, whatever works for you, so that you get more out of this. Does that make sense? Awesome. All right, well, let's dive in. I got my recorder on, yes, because I'm not making that mistake again where I say something genius and I didn't record it and then I forget what I said. So that won't be happening today. All right, so we're going to spend about 45 minutes today talking about how to master the things in your business that you need to master so that any income goal you set for yourself is totally achievable. So do you all have an income goal? Have you all set a number that you want to achieve by the end of 2024? Yes. Troy, how about you? Sort of? Okay. Decide it now. What was last year's income? And even if it was 0, make a number for this year. If last year's income was 50 and you decide you want it to be double that, you're going to get the strategies to make that happen without any more clients today. So set a number. Even set a number for the next 90 days if that feels more tangible to you. All right, awesome. All right, the small, powerful, consistent actions you need to take to get your business to the income level that you desire, you're going to be shocked at what actually moves the needle. Number 1, daily learning. Don't ever think you know it all. Believe me, if you dedicate 30 minutes a day to learning what you're working on, for example, if it's sales and you spend 30 minutes a day reading the best sales books, diving anything you look at is in relation to sales. And if it's coaching and sales, depending on how you want to do it, find the best book, find the best person, watch their YouTube videos, read their book. 30 minutes a day is all it takes to really go deep on a topic. And you'll be surprised that in less than 30 days, you will be a master of that topic. Now, sales has some psychology in it, so that might require 90 days of learning sales language, sales technique, and then going deep on sales psychology. That could take 90 days, absolutely. But think of the compound effect that 30 minutes a day on the same topic, if you're not all over the place, oh, 5-day challenge here, oh, email writing over here. If you just focus on the one thing you need to learn, the compound effect is huge. Networking regularly. Obviously, we need to network. We need to build our network. We need to have conversations with people. But if you're flitting around, going to different groups all the time, and I did this for years, go to one group once, go to another group 3 times, grow, You have to be consistent. You have to show up and you have to say the same thing all the time. Same thing in the chat, same offer, same pitch, so that people start to remember you. And I'll give you this tip for people in networking groups, especially virtually, to remember you. Have a distinct background that nobody else has, and wear something distinctive like a pair of cool glasses or a big pair of earrings or something that's like a statement about you. I use my hands all the time. I decide not to hide them on Zoom because it's distinctive, it's noticeable. My glasses, again, same glasses on my website. So if you go to my website, oh, that's her. Oh yeah, I know that's her. So pick something that's distinctive for you. Number 3, the customer engagement. I can't tell you how many referrals I've gotten because I still talk to all of my old clients. And I'm talking ones from 15 years ago that I used to work with at the gym. You don't know who they know. You don't know what they're currently working on. And by maintaining relationships, you increase referrals. Now, if you're just new to starting out, start out with that in mind. Hey, Jason, thanks for hopping on. Start off with maintaining relationships in mind. How often are you going to touch base? Every realtor in the world has a touch campaign in their computer that's 36 touches a year. They're not all phone calls. They're not all emails. They're not all things in the mail. They're all different ways. Maybe it's a Facebook message. Maybe it's a LinkedIn message. Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it's a text. But 36 touches a year enables you to actually know people and keep in touch with them. And it sounds like a lot, but when you think of today's social media, it's not that much. I think about Denise and I probably touch each day. There's something. There's a text message or a Facebook message or an email. Hey, look at this for me. And because of that, we know each other's businesses so well. Hi, whoever just joined us, it just says Zoom user. I don't know your first name. So hello.
Hi,
What's your first name?
Amanda Slavinsky with Charming Exteriors.
Hi, Amanda. Great for you to be here. We're just getting rolling with, I'm going to tip number 4, consistent marketing effort. So what does that look like? Daily, weekly marketing efforts. I don't care what they are, but they have to be consistent. Don't post 3 days in a row on Facebook and then ditch it for 30 days. Consistency wins the race every single time. Pick one platform, optimize that to the best of your ability, and then rock it out. Be consistent. Number 5, review your daily goals and priorities all the time. All the time, every day. What's the goal for today? Pick one. One main goal for today was teaching this workshop. The other 2 goals for today was supporting every single one of my clients with a 30-minute call. Wow, that's a full day. Don't expect to do anything else, Suzanne. It adjusted me right from the beginning in the morning. One major goal for the day. And if you get that done, freaking celebrate it. Celebrate that one thing. I did a great job. Awesome. And anything else today is gravy. I don't know about you. How many times have you gotten to the end of the day and it's time to stop? It's 5 or 5:30 or 6:30 and you're like, I gotta go cook dinner. I have no idea what I'm doing. I feel like I got nothing done today. How many times has that happened? And it is the worst energy to ever go back out to your family with or to bring to your next day's worth of work. I'm telling you, it drags you down And that does not equal meeting people with the energy you need to sell your products or your services. So in order to feel like you've accomplished something every day, by setting those 3 things in the morning and checking them off, there's a little dopamine rush that you get, like, I accomplished that, instead of, what did I do today? And it's a game changer. It really, really is. All right, number 6, financial monitoring. I hate this part. I hate QuickBooks. I can't stand looking at my bank account and what's going in, what's going out. But as soon as I started doing it on a weekly basis, 1 hour a week, blocked out on my calendar for checking in on QuickBooks, made me aware that I was spending 27, 37, 47, whatever, way too often a couple years ago. And that simple thing added up to hundreds of dollars a month and really streamlined my finances. So put the time on your calendar, whatever financial software you use, to check in once a week or twice what's coming in and what's going out. It will make you painfully aware that more is going out than is coming in. And if that doesn't light a fire under your butt, nothing else will. Number 7, continuous improvement. Seek to improve your products or services based on feedback all the time. Feedback and market trends. If you don't know your competition, who's the best of the best in your industry and what they're currently selling and how they package it, you need to do that competitive research and find out what is the market currently investing in. Because if you go by what social media feeds are saying to you for your brand, I'm telling you, you're going to be misled 100% of the time. So constant improvement of those offers, bonuses. One of my favorite offers of all times is one of Daniel Andrews' coaches. He's an NLP communication coach. He charges an amount for his 8-week program. I don't even know what it is now. And then you're his client forever. You're in his phone forever. Have a question that he will have an answer to, he will get back to you. I've never heard of that model before, but I had to talk to him as soon as I heard the model. It was that different. So figure out how you can be different in the marketplace that it makes people say, well, that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. If I sign up with this guy and that's what I need, he's mine forever. I get to ask questions forever. How cool is that? It's super distinctive. Now, number 8 is where we all get messed up, is building that strong online presence. It's not followers. It's not likes. It's not engagement. I'm going to share with you a compliment I got last week when I was introduced to somebody. He was a potential client and he did his due diligence. He checked me out. And he said, everywhere I looked for you, it was the same. The same picture, the same glasses, the same tagline, the same message. He was the first person that ever noticed that. So that's what a strong online presence is. When you Google search your name, does your LinkedIn profile come up? It should. When you Google search your name, what are the first 5 or 6 things that come up? Is it blog posts? Is it something on your website? Or is it something of somebody else's? A podcast appearance you were on, 3 years ago. If that comes up first, that means that person who had you as a guest did a great job with their SEO and you're not doing such a great job with yours. What were you going to say, Denise? Did it work? You searched yourself?
I just searched myself. I came up first.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, you're on mute, Daniel. I can't hear you. No bueno.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Geez. Settings.
Mm-hmm.
You can't find me on a Google search because even my full name, Daniel Patrick Andrews, is the name of a bombastic Victorian premier in Australia. And I'm buried under 1 million hits. So I had to actually buy my name as a domain in order to be found on the internet. So
Yes.
Daniel Patrick Andrews won't turn up anything. DanielPatrickAndrews.com. Takes you to
Okay.
the only. So yeah, have
Okay.
fun with that. But yeah, it's a struggle. So
It is a struggle, and it's one of the reasons I'm Suzanne Taylor King instead of Suzanne King or
yeah.
Suzanne Taylor, because there's 20 Suzanne Taylors in New Jersey, and Suzanne King is my mother-in-law and like 40 other people in Pennsylvania. So how do I really make that distinctive? My website used to be Suzanne Taylor Life Coach. Too many Suzanne Taylors, too confusing. I needed to brand something more distinctive. Okay, next one, time management. You know how I feel about time management. Use the tools like time blocking, calendar blocking, all the things I've said, putting an hour every week on your calendar for financial management, putting an hour every day for staying in touch with those old clients or your inner circle network. Pomodoro technique works great for me. 25-minute bursts of doing something, standing up for 5 minutes. And if I have big projects to work on, scheduling 90-minute blocks as a minimum. And I'll tell you why. Because when I look at my calendar today, if I woke up this morning and thought, I'm going to write an email today, I look at my calendar. No, I'm not. There's 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the afternoon. And if I work late, there's a little bit of time. So don't even have the expectation of doing that today. Really look at your calendar and be in charge of it, not having it be in charge of you. Self-care. This is huge. If you have problems with this, talk to Denise. She will motivate the heck out of you for this. Put it on your calendar. The walk at lunchtime with your dog, the morning journaling. Put it on your calendar and treat it as though it's something that's paying you a fortune, because that is where you will screw up. Owning your own business is putting your own needs aside to seek or find something or learn something or give that time away to other people. Number one has to be you. And yes, even if you have a 2-year-old, and this is why I got used to getting up at 5:30 in the morning before anybody woke up. That time for you is so important. Hey, Kim, thanks for joining us. All right, number 11, the customer feedback. Ask people what they think. Ask for opinions. Ask for insights. And if your offer is not selling, if you've asked 100 people to buy your offer and you got 100 no's, there's something missing in the way you're communicating it, and get opinions. If you've only made your offer 5 or 10 times and you kind of got 3 no's and then no answers to the others, you don't even know. It's not enough information. So go easy on yourself until you've gotten 100 no's. And this sounds daunting. This sounds overwhelming to get 100 no's. So ask everyone you know to have eyes on your offer. Now, if you don't have an inner circle of people to send a link to and say, look at this, tell me what you think, you need that. And some of those people need to be your ideal demographic, psychographic people. They have to be, because that information you get back is priceless. And if you don't have a coach, that helps with that too. Having that person to send things to. All right. And number 12, which is one of my favorites, keep an ideas journal. I remember the day like it was yesterday, about 10 years ago. I can't even remember what coach I was working with at that point, but I was so filled with ideas. I need to do this. I want to have this. The podcast that I'm doing right now was an idea 8 years ago. 8 years ago. And I had to realize that all of those ideas were not necessarily for me, and they most definitely weren't for me right now. So keep a journal, keep a notebook, someday, some connection of yours is going to come along and they're going to need an idea and you're going to go, oh my God, I have the perfect idea for you. I do it all the time. Give those ideas away, the ones that don't meet and get you to your goals. Okay, any questions on those 12 things or insights or anything you want to share before we go on to the next step? No, we're good? Go ahead, Denise.
I thought the one that, I mean, they're all great, but the one that I thought was kind of a bit of a duh, is taking a half an hour every day to read about something you want to get better in. I have like 3 books that I've started, and you know, I'll read it later. I'll read it at the end of the day. I'll read it before I go to bed. And I'm really good at time blocking. I mean, that's my jam. That's what I tell all my clients. That meal planning. But literally, I've started 3 books because I'm interested in these 3 topics. One of them I decided after getting 3/4 of the way through, it's just a little too woo-woo for me. I'm just not that woo-woo. But I have the intention of reading these books, but now the idea of just putting it into my calendar was that kind of light bulb, like, well, duh. I mean, it was almost kind of like, you know, kind of V8 thing.
And if you're learning about sales, like I mentioned, and you've gone to Amazon and you've gotten your recommendations on books, and say there's 6 books on sales that you want to read, get 2 of them, the best rated 2, and then the others read the book summaries for. Print them out, have the digital version, I don't care. And keep one of the books downstairs for your 30 minutes in the morning, and keep the other book upstairs for your 30 minutes before bed. Now your whole month of learning is all about sales, and you're getting 2 different perspectives. Maybe it's the male-female perspective. Maybe it's the insurance sales perspective versus the coaching sales perspective. And you can take things from one industry to another. When you embrace learning like this, you start to form your own opinions and methods. This list that I just did with you is from learning from 50 different people, 50 different books. And it's all a soup in here, and then I decipher it out. That's what you need to be able to do if you're going to have a business and master learning at this next level. And it's totally required.
Right.
Speed reading or photo reading has changed my life. Being able to photo read something, if you're curious about it, Paul Shilley is the teacher I learned from, and it's a method of absorbing words off a page that doesn't involve traditional reading. That's all I have to say. It's life-changing. And I don't do it all the time, but you know how you get to a book and you get to a story piece, or you get to a couple chapters that just don't apply to you, but you're not sure, you can photo read those and get to the part that does apply to you. So it's just that next level of learning.
I have another, so as we're talking, I have something that's come up and something that you and I have talked about this year. Okay, so reading the 2 books, I get that. My goal this year is to not listen to so many people. This coach says this coach says that. There's just so many people, so many gurus, so many experts. I mean, seriously, the entire month of December, I basically took December off, and you know what? I didn't miss any of it.
Yeah.
I'm so over the whatever on Facebook and Instagram and all of these gurus. I like the idea of taking the books because it's not so in your face. I mean, these people are in your face. I mean, I hate to say this, but Dan Henry, I got on his list. The dude sends me an email like 4 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, I'm over him. He made me brilliant, but I'm so over him because now I feel like he's in my face. And so I think this is a really great way for people to continue, to do the learning and to continue to grow without all of the noise.
Yes. Yes. And him in particular, you're getting,
I know you love him.
I know I do. But you're getting 4 emails a day because he wants you in his $97 a month thing. And well, I get that. It's marketing. I would prefer to read his book rather than get a year's worth of meaningless emails.
I did just order it.
Well, that's how I came to know, like, and trust him, from the book. And then the book led me to his membership. And so I have a different customer journey than most people. And what you're saying right now is you have a different customer journey than standard marketing, which probably means you're smarter than the average bear. Just going to say it. So when you're smarter than the average bear, traditional marketing of constant emails or the webinar to the sign up to the isn't going to work on you because you've been there, done that. And I'm not going to another webinar that spends an hour, right? You've become wise to that. So take control of your own learning. You want to learn from Dan Henry, go buy his book. You want to learn from Darren Hardy, go buy his book. Mm-hmm. Don't fall into the online funnel piece. Amanda.
I just wanted to share real quick. I found this amazing app and I'm like a spokesperson for it, but it's called Headway, and it summarizes books verbally, in like an audio form, and 15 minutes. So like you were talking about, like, you set aside the reading time, but then like on your car rides to wherever, your 15-minute car rides, you can also listen to a summary. Mm-hmm. So instead of maybe reading a summary, you can also listen to it with the app.
Yeah. Great tip. I love Headway. I also love short form. Short form is a little more detailed, but you can also listen to those. So if you're going deep on sales this month and you have a 2-hour car ride, you could listen conceivably to 4 books on sales if they're only 20 minutes long, right? Amazing.
My library has the audio summaries more than they do, meaning there's a bigger selection of summaries, audio and digital and printed summaries, than there are of the actual books. Yeah. And so much of the book is convincing you that you need to take this action. I'm like, no, I got the book because I know I need to take the action. Give me the principles, moving on.
Yeah. One of my coaches, Brian Johnson, does book summaries, and he pulls out 10 big ideas from each book he does a summary on. And what I love about that is if you're going for quick and digestible, 10 ideas from one book for you to implement or take action on is more than enough. And then it's time to get someone else's opinion, because no one book is going to be 100% what you need on a topic. It's going to be that combination of learning. All right, let me move on. Now, crafting your vision whether it's for 100K, 200K, or $1 million, requires some shifts in mindset. And I gave a shift in mindset to a client this morning. And as soon as I describe what I said to her, you're going to say, I think I might know who that is. And that's okay. She has an image when you meet her, when you talk to her, there's a calm, grounded energy. She exudes knowledge on her topic, but she refused until she met me to charge more than $100 for a 12-week program. And I challenged her to see herself, to see her image, her energy, the way she shows up, from her level of attractiveness to the way she dresses, to the way she presents herself, that the disconnect, if somebody sees you as attractive, articulate, put together, intelligent, and then you only charge $100, they think there's something wrong with you. They've just seen this great image. Listen, we've all been on bad dates, right? You meet somebody and maybe the outside package is attractive, and then they start talking and you're like, oh God, no. But when the whole package lines up, the look, the words, and then you get the price, and it's only $100, you immediately say, she doesn't know what she's doing. Immediately. And that shift in perspective is the number one thing that will get you making more money in your business. Look at what you're currently offering, the transformation that you provide, and decide that it's worth more than you're currently charging. That's it. Doesn't mean you need to do anything extra or anything more, but Daniel Andrews shows up every day, dressed well, usually in a tie. Today, he doesn't have a tie on. That's okay. I'll let you slide. The one day you don't have a tie on.
And the tie took a hit.
Oh, that's okay. That happens. But he shows up in a professional office space, well-dressed, right? So that comes with an image. It's an image that he has. And if you have that image, you can charge more for what you're doing. Plain and simple. All right. So my number one mindset shift that needs to be happening is after you set a goal. So say you decide you want to make $100,000 this year, viewing it as something tangible. Okay, I want to make 100. My program is $10,000. I need to sell this. I need to get this many yeses. Making it tangible is number one. That shift, you're going to get lots of challenges that come up, and to not be swayed by those challenges. That's number one mindset shift. I'm going to do what it takes to sell 10 people my $10,000 program. And if I get 10 or 20 no's right off the bat, I'm going to keep going. That's first mindset shift. Second is from outcome oriented to process. And this is plain and simple. If I have to make 1,000 offers to sell 10 coaching packages, I'm going to do that. So you focus on the process, learning sales, learning conversation, learning attraction techniques, instead of how am I going to do this? How am I going to just start doing it? The process will refine itself. Don't be so focused on that process, on that outcome. Just keep doing the process. Number 3, from perfectionism to action. Oh, this is hard. This list of things as entrepreneurs that we feel like we have to have, the website, the blog, the funnel, the this, the that, all of these, the pitch deck, the Oh my God, it's never ending. And by the time you get it all done, guess what? It's time to redo it. So don't focus on that. If your goal is to make sales all day, every day, once you have the basics done of your offer and any assets that that person who says yes is going to want from you, that's all that needs to be done until you have some more sales under your belt and you can pay someone to help you. There's no funnel that you need. There's no automation and there's no secret tool that's going to get you to make more sales. It's you. It's you meeting people and talking to people. All right. Comfort zone. If you're uncomfortable doing something, guess what? That's your homework piece. Who would be willing to share what they're uncomfortable doing in their business right now? What are you uncomfortable? Go ahead, Charlotte.
Finding people to sell to, finding people to outreach, talk to, tell them what I can offer them.
Okay. So define finding them.
Identifying them, like where do I find them?
Mm-hmm.
And then what do I say to them to get that conversation started?
Okay. So what if it wasn't about that conversation? What if it's just about any conversation?
Piece of cake. I can do that.
That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. Meet more people. Talk to more people.
Okay.
Now, does it help if those people could write a check to you? Abso-freaking-lutely. But get the practice of meeting people, building rapport, pulling people in, attracting people, get that nailed down. And you already do. You already have that. So just go do it. And I don't care if it's in your normal life, outside of the computer, off the computer, and you drive to Starbucks today to get a latte, walk into Starbucks with, I'm going to talk to a stranger in mind. Everywhere you go. I promise you, if you do that one thing everywhere you go, within a very, very short time, you will spark up a conversation with a stranger at Michael's craft store, and they will end up a client and then a lifelong referral partner, like happened to me.
Wow.
You're buying the same calendar pages for, my son was with me. He was 3. And Michelle Robinson met her at Michael's. And she was like, I like you. I'm like, I like you. Maybe we should have coffee. I like what you do. And awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amanda. Little man with you. Are you going to talk to a stranger at McDonald's? Oh, you're on mute, Amanda.
I am pretty good at talking to strangers. I have to get myself out there, especially I have a roadblock. Like, I'm women-owned roofing and siding, so I am the rare, like, there's not many of us out here. So I have to fight the big sharks in the sea.
Ooh, but I'm going to say there's something unique there. You not only unique marketing, but who makes most financial, decorative, or improvement decisions in households? The woman.
The wife. But my struggle is mostly, I think, like, the one thing that I struggle with the most is not believing in myself and second guessing myself. So, like, when I'm writing up bids and stuff, I struggle with, like, price points and, like, things like that, and just making sure that I'm scared. Like, I have fear. You know what I mean? Even though, like, I'm always on point, I'm always there. I'm always right there where I need to be. But a part of me, and then I'll drop my price because I'm like, and then I'm the lowest bid, and then they don't trust the lowest bid. They go with the middle, and it always winds up being like that for me.
Yeah. So, when we have the choice to be the lowest bid or the highest bid, what do you think gets chosen more often? The lowest bid or the highest bid? What do you think gets chosen more often?
I always thought in my industry it was the one in the middle.
Yeah, it's usually the one in the middle. But my mentor charges $1 million for her coaching for a year. And obviously that puts her with a certain client, probably 10 to a $30 million a year business. And typically she will double your business bottom line, right? And she doesn't do social media. She gets referred because that level of business owner talks to other business owners, right? And one of the things she said all the time is by being the most expensive, elevated her to a different level of clientele. And she didn't decide her price. Her daughter did. Her daughter told her when she started coaching at 65, Mom, based on your experience and what you did for Dad's company, taking it from 20 million a year to $30 billion, and she couldn't run that company because she was a woman and it was a Saudi Arabian based company. She moved to the United States and her daughter threw her a lunch and offered her coaching. And Mary said, I don't coach. And the daughter said, you do now. And when someone asks you how much you charge, tell them it's $1 million. And she was like, I can't do that. And she did it. And that's how she got where she is today. Because her daughter decided the price. It removed her own self-doubt out of the equation, which I love that. So Amanda, get someone else's opinion. Find another female-owned roofing and siding company or contracting company and make friends with that woman and talk pricing and get her opinion on your pricing. All right, next one. Embracing failure, one of my favorites. If you're not failing and screwing something up or doing it wrong or changing your mind or saying, oh, that didn't work, let me try something else, you're not being creative enough. You're not being bold enough. So when is the last time you screwed up something? When is the last time you wrote a proposal and you lowered your price? Screw up, not doing that again. Learn from those failures and don't do it again. Don't make the same mistake twice. Always be learning from your failures, not beating yourself up over it. External validation, likes, follows. I'm going to admit, totally got caught up in it for a while. How many people are following me? How many people are subscribed? Oh my God, my new newsletter has 1,600 people from LinkedIn. Guess what? Never made a dime from any of those people. Who cares? That's not what's going to make you money. And what if you could realize that right now? That likes, follows, being an influencer. Do you know how many influencers or micro influencers I've met with 20,000, 30,000, 100,000 followers that make zero money? So that has nothing to do with why you're not successful, which I love that. From isolation to collaboration, please make sure you have people to talk to, get opinions of people that you trust, that you respect. And I'll push a little bit and say people a little farther along than you, because when you have that person, like I have two mentors, two phenomenal women who are, one's more farther along than me education wise, and one's farther along than me income wise. Huge. huge influence over me to get to hang out with those people. And you have to be brave for this, because it's easy to hang out in rooms where you're the smartest person. That's kind of fun, right? Oh, let me show up and let me give out all my stuff and be the rock star. And when you have to go in a room and shut up and learn and get negative opinions or get negative feedback, that's where the growth happens. Last one, work-life balance. Biggest mistake entrepreneurs make is spending too much time on work and not enough time out in the world, meeting actual people, having actual fun. And that goes right back to the other one I said about being out in the real world and talking to strangers. The fun on your calendar, please, please, please don't just make it networking events. Ooh, that's sad. Make plans with groups of people. Go to retreats, go to workshops. I've met some of my biggest clients ever going to other people's workshops because it's like minds in the same room. If you've never been to a Tony Robbins workshop that's in person, or, some sort of, convention, there's a small business convention every year in Philadelphia. I always get a message about having a table. No way. If I sit at a table and pay $3,000 to have a booth, I have to sit there and wait for people to come up to me. I'll just be a guest and I'll go meet the people I want to meet. So by doing that on a regular basis, get your name out there in the business world, in the networking space, and speaking. If you're comfortable speaking, that's another way to get in front of. Amanda.
To circle back to when I raised my hand, when you talk about like followers engagement and not focusing on that, how do you handle like people close to you who don't support you or support your business and support your dreams and goals? Like, how do you handle that with poise and grace and, like not get resentful? And that's my biggest struggle right now. I was a quick story, like my good friends, like we like got married together, had kids together, all the fun things. And I just saw like 4 new followers, and I looked and it's those 4 people. And I'm like, how do I not get mad at that? Like, how do I not let that affect me?
Yeah. I think the most important thing is to have the people that you do get that from. Having people who encourage you, who support you, having a coach, having a mentor, having a business bestie, and your family. And believe me, I have a ton in mine who don't even know what I do. They all even follow me on social media. And my one sister-in-law thinks I sell makeup because I wear makeup. So I think releasing the expectation of your friends and family buying from you, referring business to you, it can't even be on your radar. If it happens, great, but most likely it's not, because they see you a certain way. Your family sees you the way they've always seen you. My cousins, all older than me, they see me as the baby and the little, oh, Sue, they would never hire me. They're not going to share my stuff. And I just don't expect it. I think that's the key. Okay. All right. Our next step is to overview all of this. And what does it mean for you as an entrepreneur? Really, it means establishing the daily habits and putting these things on your calendar. Number 1. Number 2, if you don't understand basic sales strategy, that is your learning homework. Don't join a $10,000, $20,000 program that you think is going to teach you sales, marketing, messaging. It's not. I've bought 10 of them. And you have to learn what that stuff is for you before you hire a coach, before you participate in an online course or a program. Learning for yourself and forming your own opinions, greatest skill ever as an entrepreneur. And lastly, your time management is the number one thing. Focus and being able to manage that calendar. Whether it's saying my 2 favorite phrases, in what capacity would you like to meet with me? It's my favorite. When somebody asks for a meeting with me, in what capacity would you like to meet with me? And typically the reaction is, oh, what do you mean? Well, if you're looking to hire a coach, I have openings tomorrow. If you're looking to pick my brain on a topic, I have a link to send you. I charge for brain picking. Here's the link to schedule that. And if you want a friend in the online space and you're looking just to hang around me, I have openings in 3 months. Come to one of my events in the meantime. So it's all about knowing your own personal boundaries, and you can only know that once you have your goals in place. How many of you have had meaningless coffee chats with people who only get on the coffee chat to sell you their stuff? They don't care about you. They don't even listen most of the time. And I've been on a few that the other person talks the whole entire time. Well, that was a waste of my time. So the only choice to combat that is to have boundaries around your time and take the lead on all of these calls. If you're going to go to networking and you're in the breakout room, take control of the room. If you don't know how to do that, talk to Daniel. He'll show you how to do it. And I can distinctly remember 2 months ago, went to my normal networking group that I go to twice a month, and I was tired. It was a long day. I didn't feel like being on. I didn't feel like leading the room. So I got into the breakout room and I didn't say anything. I'm like, I'm going to let somebody else do it. Nobody did anything. And they ended up in the most stupid, ridiculous conversation. And now I'll never get that 15 minutes back from that breakout room. I don't know anything about those people that were in that room because of the ridiculousness of the conversation. And it dawned on me that if I'm going to show up to a networking event, I have to show up energized and on and my normal personality and take control of that breakout room. Unless Daniel's there, then we kind of share control of the breakout room and it's really fun because we bounce off of each other. If I'm not going to be that, do not go. That's the new algorithm. If I'm going to networking, I am on and I am running the breakout room. And if I question that at all, don't even go to the meeting. Go ahead, Denise.
So I was in a networking meeting, I don't even know, maybe it was November, maybe it was beginning of December, I can't remember now. And they had these questions in the breakout rooms, which is usually really helpful. But this one was so freaking off the wall for me. And it was a woman running it. And like the questions were like, if you were a sci-fi character, who would you be? And I'm like, I'm here to network. I mean, So actually, you know what I ended up doing? I'm like, so I went through the first breakout, and the second breakout question was just as useless for I think. Like, you know what? I just left. You know, and I think that's, you know, you said this before about networking, you know, pick a few and be consistent.
Yeah.
When I get back in March, I'm planning on joining the Minneapolis Elevate. Now, Minneapolis is 90 miles from here. So it's gonna be a lot of this. But my goal this year is, while the weather is nice for the whole 6 months that it's nice here, I'm going to try to get up there once a month, because there is something, you're right, it's very different when you're face to face with somebody. And had that question been asked while you were kind of like talking in with a person like across from them, I think the conversation would have gone a little differently. Like, okay, well, I'm not a sci-fi person, so like, okay, let's quickly do this and then get into something more interesting. So it's okay. And so I would just say it's okay to leave a networking event if it doesn't fit.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to, the goals of the group have to match the goals for your business. And if it doesn't, there's plenty of others that you can align yourself with, And one of the things, I was talking to somebody earlier this morning, and he went to a new group, and he said he loved the format. And I said, "Oh, tell me more. What did you love about it?" And he said, "I loved that everybody got 1 minute to talk about their business, and there's no more than 15 people there at a time, and it's private invitation only." So it would be like if I said, "Daniel, it's like a private thing. Like, Daniel, you're going to come to this, and I'm going to invite 5 people you don't know. Denise, I want you to come too, and I'm going to invite 5 people you don't know." And that's it. And then it becomes more concierge. And he said, I wrote it down, 1 minute intro each person. And then each week there's one member that they feature. So if this week was Denise's week, she would get to talk about what she's currently offering and who she works with and who she wants to meet. And then there's a question about, what are you doing right now to move your business forward? And everybody answers it. And then there's accountability, and then actual real-time introductions at the end. Meaning, oh, Daniel, you need to meet people who run networking groups. I know 40 of those. Let's go to my LinkedIn and see which ones you want to meet. And doing it while you're in the meeting. And if your groups aren't doing those things, there's groups out there that are. Or pull your own event together with key people from your inner circle. How valuable do you want to be to your inner circle? I want my inner circle to say, I'm not missing something she invites me to, where she says, Daniel, show up. There's going to be 6 of your ideal clients in this room that I've invited to introduce you to. I know he's going to show up. He's called me while I'm making dinner, and I've shown up in the Zoom room. And if you have a tight group of people to do that with, it's more quality one-on-ones that you can have. And if you don't want to have one-on-ones, Denise doesn't really want to have one-on-ones, but the nature of her offer, she doesn't really need to. So what does it look like for you? All right, now moving forward, what do you do with all of this information? I'm going to send out notes on today. If you want the notes from today, please put your email in the chat so I don't have to go looking for it. Just type your email in the chat and I will send you all the takeaways and everything from today. But here's where my business is going. I've decided that I'm making changes. I have decided what I'm not doing any longer. And by deciding what I'm not doing, the door is wide open for what I do want to do. And while the decision is really hard to make changes like that, to make bold moves, once you do it, you now have room in your calendar. You now have an opportunity to do something that you want to do. But if your calendar is jam-packed full with meaningless things, there is no time for the universe to provide anything for you. And that's about as woo-woo as Suzanne gets. There has to be room for something to come into your life. So what are you willing to make room for? All right, questions on today?
In addition to that, what are you willing
Yes.
to give up? What
Yeah.
are you willing to give up?
Yeah.
I think sometimes that's even more important.
Yes, and more scary. More scary. Way more
I gave
scary.
everything. I gave everything up to, I was working with an assistant and everybody for like 2 years, maybe almost 3 years. Didn't see where I was going. In October, decided end that contract with her, and I started working in November with a company, and they're doing almost everything. And so there are days where I'm going, what do I do today?
Mhm.
And it's amazing that it's actually opened up more creativity. I'm not futzing with what am I doing, what am I doing on social media today? Obviously, I go in to look to see on LinkedIn, but I'm not stressed out about, telling her what to do and how to do it. And it's just completely changed the way I am, the way I feel about my business.
Mhm.
And I feel, like I said, some days I'm like, oh, you know what? I actually don't have to do anything until 7 o'clock. I have one thing at 7 o'clock on my list or on my calendar today. Now I do have to prepare for it. But most days I would be filling this day with any other kind of crap.
Mhm.
I like how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm not stressed. I don't know. I think stress is a part of owning a business. I get that. But if that's all you have, what's the point?
Yeah.
That's where I was.
I was feeling very similar that, because I believe coaching is custom and co-created through conversation with my clients. Well, if I'm doing a group program, a scalable group program that has an online course associated with it, I'm not in line with my values. What am I doing? So if what you're putting out there for sale is not aligned with your morals and your values and your why and all of those things, it's not going to sell well. And if you force it to sell, I would argue that you're going to end up like where I ended up in December, saying, I don't want to do this anymore. How can I get out of it? How can I go back to supporting each client one-on-one, whether it's 15 minutes a week or 90 minutes a week? How can I do that? Because that's what feels good to me. So it has to feel good and it should be fun. And if it's not, I invite you to schedule a conversation with me and we'll figure it out. All right. Any questions or anybody need any coaching today? And then I'll let you go. Was this helpful today?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
And great timing. I've heard you say a lot of these things over the last few months, but it was great to have it in a summary form to go, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, well, hopefully it gives you an insight to where I'm going and what I'm doing. But also, nobody needs more stuff to do.
Mhm.
Nobody needs another video to watch or another freaking worksheet to fill out. They need actionable steps and accountability to meet the people they're supposed to meet so they can sell their stuff to them in an authentic way, not another course. And when this hit me was when I saw that a major influencer is selling AI generated courses and he's not creating them. So his team is creating the content, the course, the outlines, the handouts, and all of the videos of him using AI. And I thought, it's not even his information. And I thought, if that's the way the world's going, I'm going to go in the opposite direction. So that's kind of what brought the changes on was, oh, would people actually buy a course on high ticket sales as a coach that was not created by a coach who's selling high ticket? Well, what if you didn't know? What if you thought that course was from Tony Robbins or Grant Cardone or any one of those influencers, but it really wasn't?
Yeah, and I'll jump onto that, Suzanne. I think there's probably a lot of people like myself who are brand new to this whole entrepreneurial thing.
Mm-hmm.
After a 30-year career in law enforcement, business is completely different than anything I've ever done. And so there are those of us who are out there looking for somebody. And unfortunately, I think to your point, somebody like that could really reel them in, get that high ticket entrance, and then they get disappointed and end up quitting because they're disillusioned and they get poor results and they no longer believe in themselves. So
yeah, absolutely. How long have you been in business, Troy?
2 years today. Today is my 2-year anniversary of retiring. So
Congratulations.
yeah, thanks. I successfully made it through a 30-year career, and now so
Nice.
many of the things that you mentioned on this list, I'm like, oh yeah, guilty, guilty, guilty. So it's good to hear some of this stuff and get some guidance from somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. So I appreciate the stuff that you put out there today.
Of course. And I'm going to grab my favorite book for all newer entrepreneurs. And this Book Yourself Solid by Michael Port. Get the second or third edition. Which one is this? This is the third edition. That's the newest one. It is step by step how to do everything, how to set up your profiles, how to email, how to get referrals, my favorite chapter, becoming the likable expert in your field, building trust and credibility. Great book. And every coaching program out there geared for newbie business owners follows the steps in this book. From velvet rope policy to ideal client to calendar blocking, it's all in here. You don't need anything else.